What's going on, ballers? Thanks so much for tuning in again, and welcome back to another BigJBasketball box break video. Today we are not breaking any boxes. As you can see, we got a nice stack of cards here for a PSA submission preview video. So we're going to take a look at all these, see what's going to be headed into PSA, or actually we'll probably already be on the way to PSA by the time this video goes live. It's been a while since we've done a PSA submission preview and even a reveal. I think it's been over a month since we got these cards back from PSA. Got this Luka red and gold wave PSA 10 number to 99. This came out of an Optic T-Mall box, and one of the biggest cards I've gotten back from a PSA submission recently. This Paolo titanium jersey number to 5 PSA 10, a pop 1. So hopefully we can get some good grades back on these two. So let's go through everything, take a quick look at each card, and maybe talk about what grades I think they might get. So let's start off with the Kobe. Bought this raw on eBay. It looked really clean when I bought it raw, and even when I got it in hand, I can't really find any major issues. This card is a pretty tough grade, especially with the all dark border, but even with the black border, there's really not a lot of white, or if any white, showing on like the top edges or corners. Maybe a tiny little bit of white down there, but everything else looked good. Surface looked good. So I know these are tough to grade though, and they're probably not easy to get really good grades. So I'd say probably it'll come back as an 8, but fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get a 9 on this. I would definitely doubt it's going to get a 10. That's probably not realistic. But the gold medallion, second year card, 97 Ultra, a 9 on this would be really, really nice. So definitely hoping for a 9 on that one. Would not be surprised by an 8. Basically the same thing on this card. This is from EX. It's a Generation EX insert. Really cool laser cut card that actually just is kind of wide open in the middle here. So I tend to worry about cards like these, that they're going to be cut wrong, or there's going to be, bends or damage or creases or things like that. But again, I looked this over really closely. Didn't see any creases or really major issues. I think on the back, and you probably can't see it on the video, but there was like a little bit of a surface kind of mark on the back here. Again, kind of impossible to see on camera, but it was there when I looked, when I had the card out of the case. But other than that, I did not really see anything major with this. So again, not going to get a 10. A card that's tough to grade like this, I wouldn't be surprised by an 8, but really keeping my fingers crossed for a 9. So it's probably somewhere between 8 and a 9 on that one. This is a super rare card. This Topps MVP promotion. These were inserted I think in every 100 packs. And it's a really big checklist. It was really hard to get any specific player. I found this being sold on Instagram. A couple people alerted me to the sale. I wasn't following the guy who sold it, but got a really good deal on it. And it was actually the only one I'd ever seen for sale. And I've never seen anyone before or since then, not only for sale, but even like historical sold comps. Can't find anything on this. And I was really surprised on how good the condition was. When I got this, centering is a little bit off, little skinny on the left compared to the right, but that's kind of negligible. Edges and corners for the most part looked really good. Surface looked good, no scribbling on the back or anything like that. Again, probably not going to get a 10. It's not super perfect, but I would love to get a 9 on this one. I think if it was an 8 or lower, I'd probably be a little bit bummed, but definitely hoping for a 9. Here's another one I'm definitely hoping should get at least a 9. This is from the same year, actually, so it's the same picture. This is base Topps. This was from Topps Chrome. This is the very first year of the black refractor. This one's numbered to 50. So there we go right there. And again, this looked super, super, super clean. Bought it raw on eBay, actually from Probstein, bought it raw. Maybe a little bit of white in that top left corner, but it's so minimal. Centering looked really good. Maybe tiny bits heavy on the right and skinny on the left, but it's so close. It looks mostly dead centered. There are no PSA 10s in existence for this card. So do I think this is going to be the one to get the very first PSA 10? I would love it if it did, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give it a 10. Again, hopefully a 9 at the worst. If it was any lower than a 9, I think I'd be upset. So first couple cards, we got a Ginobili. This one I'm definitely expecting a 10. This is his 2002 E-Topps rookie card. I think print run on this is 2000. It's not numbered. but I know when these were released, they did release print runs and through the eTopps program. And this looked perfect. I could not find one thing wrong with this card. Edges, corners, surface, everything looked great. I mean, I don't really know how to judge centering on this. There's no clear borders, but definitely expecting a 10 on that one. Not expecting a 10 on this one, but don't really care too much about grade on this. I was just super happy to finally find one of these again. I used to have the jersey numbered copy that was 20 out of 25 in a PSA 8 case. This is 10 out of 25. And other than the centering, this card looked perfect. So top to bottom centering, definitely off, definitely really skinny on the bottom, thick on the top. Left to right looked okay, a little skinny on the right maybe. But other than that, edges, corners, surface looked perfect. Couldn't find any issues anywhere. So hoping doesn't do any worse than an 8 because of the centering. I've honestly seen cards centered like this that are perfect that end up getting 9s if there's nothing else wrong with it, but not expecting a 9. Hoping for an 8 on that one. This one, really hoping for a 9. 2009 Topps Chrome. This one is numbered out of 50, 42 out of 50. I already have one of these in a PSA 9, but it's slightly off center. The centering is definitely better on this one. It looks pretty much dead on, left to right, top to bottom. And even on the back with these dark borders, not really any white showing. Looks really good for the most part. But again, it's hard to, you probably can't see it on camera. There was a very, very teeny tiny little scuff on the front surface that's pretty much impossible to see, but I know it was there when I prepped the card. So I'm sure they'll ding me a little bit for that. But if this can get a 9, again, not expecting a 10, but if this can get a 9, I'll probably keep this one and sell the other 9 that I have that's a little bit off center. So hoping for a 9 on that. Definitely hoping for a 10 on this one. I love these mosaic white parallels, numbered out of 25, super clean looking card. His legs kind of fall into right into the background of the card, but definitely expecting a 10 on this. I'd be shocked if this got a 9. Couldn't find anything wrong with it. But you never know. A lot of times I think I'll get a 10 and I get a 9. This one, probably a 9. Centering is off. Skinny on the top, fat on the bottom. Even on the right, it's a little bit skinny. So centering is definitely off, but again, couldn't find anything else wrong with it. And this one is jersey numbered, 9 out of 59. Nice color match with the blue. So if I can get a 9, that'll be a jersey match on the serial number and on the grade as well. So it'll be a double 9 jersey match on that Denny rookie. This is another one I already have in a PSA 10, but I can't really find any others. Couldn't find any sales or any listed or anything. I bought this overseas from an overseas seller in Asia, numbered out of 79, pink velocity rated rookie. Got it for 99 cents. The shipping was like 10 bucks though. So essentially I'm into the card for like 10 bucks, but this one looked great. Couldn't find anything wrong with it. Centering is a lot better than this one here. This one is pretty much dead on all the way around. So hoping for a 10 on this to double up with the 10 I already have. All right, we got Young Dolph. You guys know all about this card, I'm sure. This one looked great to me. Hoping for a 10. Even if it gets a 9, I think it's probably still worth grading, but it looked like it should get a 10. This one should get a 10 as well, I think. The only thing, maybe top to bottom centering. I don't really know how they judge those. You can see under where it says Pistons, it's not super thick, and at the top where it says selected, it looks a little bit thicker. So maybe top to bottom centering might be a little bit off, but left to right looks great, and that's typically the one they ding you harder for since it's more obvious on this card. And a lot of these had really bad centering left to right. This one looks perfect though. Premier level silver rookie of Cade, hoping for a 10 on that. Got a couple Curry cards. This is just a cheap red, white, and blue. But even Curry parallels out of PRIZM, if they get 10s, it's typically worth it. And this one looked perfect all the way around. Didn't see anything wrong with it. So hopefully 10 on that one. Another Curry. This I pulled out of a PRIZM draft box. And again, centering typically a lot of times is really bad on these. I put a lot of these photo variations and the centering is almost always off. But this one looked really clean. Looks good left to right, top to bottom, or I guess depending on how you're holding it, left to right, top to bottom. But I thought it looked good. And this is also serial numbered out of 149. So if this was just a regular parallel, not numbered from a draft card, I probably wouldn't grade it. But being serial numbered, even though it's a draft card, if it's Steph, I'll go ahead and grade that one. Got a couple LeBron cards. This is the Amazing from Illusions. This is the yellow and red parallel. So some of the inserts this year were numbered, but some were not. So unfortunately, this one's not serial numbered. but the yellow is an awesome color match with his jersey there, and there's a little bit of red at the bottom. This one looked super clean. Again, not serial numbered, but rare-ish LeBron parallel for non-numbered stuff. Hopefully we can get a 10 out of that. Here's another one I'm hoping for a 10 on. Teal Explosion Tribute out of the new hoops. I looked at previous years of these and they sell for like $40 or so in a PSA 10. So hoping we can get a 10 on this one. I don't think I've seen any yet from this specific year graded as a 10 or sold as a 10. So hopefully we can get maybe a little bump in the value, getting a 10 on this one. Centering looked perfect all the way around. Couldn't find any other issues. Edges, corners, surface looked great. Same thing here. Got a Tatum. Definitely hoping for a 10 on this one. Pulled this out of a blaster. So this year they've recently added more numbered cards to the blasters. This is the red Seismic 99 out of 299. And centering, dead centered all the way around. Hoping for a 10 on that one. Definitely think it should get a 10. Scoot, red ice. Nice color match with his long red sleeves on this card. Pulled this recently out of a PRIZM Mega Box. I got some other cards pulled from that similar PRIZM Mega Box recently. Dead centered all the way around, left to right, top to bottom, look awesome. The only concern with this card, let's see if we can get it to show up. You can see there's a print line right there going right through the middle. It is kind of a skinny print line though. So I think PSA typically dings you harder if you have like a big fat print line going all the way through. But one like this, that's a little harder to see. Hopefully we can still get a 10. I've seen a lot of 10s from PSA with thin print lines like that. So I'm gonna guess that hopefully this one can get a 10 if that's the only issue with it. So we'll see. If we get a 9, it'll probably be because of the print line. Got another red ice. Pulled this out of another box in that same video we did. Amen Thompson, again, really nice color match with the red ice. This one does not have a print line, looked clean all the way around. The centering is a little bit off. Very close though. You can see it's a little thick on the left, a little skinny on the right, especially if you look at that top border. But other than that little bit of difference, I didn't see anything wrong with this. No print lines, no edge corner issues, anything like that. No surface dimples or dings. So hopefully the centering is close enough. It looks like it's 60-40, so it should be within PSA's tolerance for a 10. So we'll see on that one. And this is the last card for the bulk portion of the submission. I got two more cards at the very end. WEMBY, PRIZM Monopoly base. Nothing fancy, but again, if it gets a 10, still worth grading. Probably like $40-50 in a 10, at least, something like that. All right, so these 20 cards are all going the regular bulk rate. You can declare up to $499 value. I don't necessarily think any of these are more than $500, even when graded. Some might come close, especially if this one gets a 9 or if this gets a really good grade. They might be close to that value, but definitely not over. Same thing, if this got a 10, maybe they'll upcharge me being the only PSA 10. But otherwise, these are all within that $499 value. The last two, though, here at the end, are more valuable. So these will be going at a slightly higher service level, so I can put a higher declared value. This is an Alonzo Mourning 97 Finest embossed die cut refractor, numbered out of 74. Probably the best card in my Alonzo Mourning PC, honestly. Did a consolidation project, sold a bunch of other cards, upgraded into this one, and it looked so clean, so I thought it would be a good PSA candidate. These die cuts are really, really hard to grade, so again, not expecting a 10. But on the back, I mean, I tried to look if there's any like issues or any white showing on the back here, and again, it looks really clean. Maybe a little bit of white on that tip right there. But for the most part, no major issues. So if this got a 9, I would love it, but more than likely probably an 8 just being a die cut. So I'll be happy if this gets an 8, but if it got a 9, that would be amazing. So that's gonna go in the higher level. And then the last card, WEMBY Silver. Again, pulled this recently out of a PRIZM Mega Box, and this is dead on centered. There is left to right, top to bottom. You could probably measure this, and it's just 50-50 all the way around. And so no issues with centering. I looked at the surface really closely. No dings, no divots, no dimples. Same thing with the back. No issues on the surface. The edges and corners looked good. So I would be really surprised if this does not come back as a 10. I think 10s are still selling a little bit over $1,000. I know when I first pulled this, 10s were like $1,600, $1,700. So as the population increases, prices will drop a little bit. So I'd anticipate this, if it does get a 10, maybe being around the $1,000 range by the time it comes back, which again, totally fine with. Definitely a really good value for a card like this in a 10, and it looks good to me. So hopefully it can get a 10. So that's it. We got 22 cards going, 2 at the slightly higher level, and then 20 at the normal bulk level. Hopefully these come back in about a month or so, maybe a little bit, maybe between a month and 2 months. So definitely stay tuned for the reveal once these come back. But that's it for the preview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one.